Hi YouTube! So this video is super late and long overdue. I did a video back in October asking if you guys had any questions, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to answer some of those. You guys have asked lots of great questions, so I'm going to try to tackle most all of them right here, right now. I am on the last day of my second to last rotation, and I have kind of the morning off, so it's still daylight, and I'm just going to tackle these right now. So, I'm going to read them and answer them. So Jeremiah Royer asks, can you do a husband tag with your husband? Yes, I would love to. I would need to be with my husband though, and right now we are not. He is in a different town doing a rotation and I'm here. But starting on Monday, we will actually get to be in the same place, hopefully for the rest of our lives. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'd have to look up a good husband-wife tag to do. So if you guys know of any good ones you want us to do with the questions you want, just send it in the link below or something. Okay. Then River City Jill says, hi, I'm a first-year med student, and I'm curious, now that you're fourth year, how much are you able to do? For example, you've mentioned delivering babies. What exactly do you do? Is there a resident/attending present? I love the vlog. So, actually, I get to do a lot more than I thought I would. First or second year med school. I'm actually able to do a lot. It does depend a lot on who your preceptor is, your attending or the resident. I actually didn't work much with attendings or residents. I worked more just one-on-one with a precepting physician, just because I'm usually in a small town and I'm not at a large hospital where there's residents and everything. And I think sometimes there you get to do a lot more. Depends how comfortable the physician is. But for example, in between my first and second year of medical school, I went on a 4-week preceptorship for rural medicine, and I was able to deliver babies. I was sewing up lacerations. I hadn't even done my surgery skills during second year med school, and I was suturing on real people. So yeah, you get to do a ton. Again, it depends on who your preceptor is and your situation, but yeah, you get to do a lot. For, I guess, delivering babies example, as a third year, maybe I would go in and the resident would check, and then if the patient had an epidural, they'd let the student check too, as long as it was okay with the patient, obviously. And I would check behind them and, say, oh, I think it's this, or whatever. So, and then some deliveries, some places I got to just stand and watch and maybe deliver the placenta, but for the most part I was gowned and gloved and I got to do the delivery. Some deliveries actually I was doing the delivery and there was a resident right there helping me, and the OB doctor was not even gowned and gloved. They were there and ready to gown and glove if they needed to, but a lot of times they were just present, and that was a lot more independence than I thought I would have, but it's been going great, and I'm a lot less nervous now knowing that, and I trust myself a lot more, so that's good. And then as for clinic patients, example where I'm at right now, I just go in, I talk to the patient, do a history physical, I explain lab result. I feel comfortable now going over fasting labs and saying, okay, cholesterol is this, your glucose is this, and explaining, this is what normal range is, this is the impaired fasting glucose, this is diabetes, and kind of where they fall and what it means to them. So I think I have a lot of independence in the education part, but I love that part, and I'm happy to do it. And then I go out and talk to the doc and say, hey, so-and-so comes in, just give them a brief overview, and they say, okay, what do you want to do? And I'll give them my plan. They said, okay, sounds good. And depending if it's on electronic medical records or not, I'll get to write the script out, and then docs say, yep, I agree with this, they'll call me, student doctor or something like that, and they'll leave the room, and then I explain everything. So at this point, at the end of my fourth year, I am kind of been able to work as more independently, as independent I think as I can get as a medical student. Anyways, that was a really long answer. Next question from One Smart Ivy. Do you all go to church? And do you get to hang out with your classmates outside of school? First question, yes, we go to church. The first 2 years of med school, we didn't really find a church. Granted, we weren't hard looking. I don't know, I think my faith was kind of stagnant. I've always grown up going to church and I don't know, every Sunday, and just really, I think, a great relationship with God. But in medical school, I hate saying this, but I just got so busy, and God was always part of my life and my faith, but it definitely was not a priority, which I guess that's how it was. But during third and fourth year, we're living with a family, like our home base, in a town, and gotten involved in the church in that town, and we love it. Come home as often as we can, and we love going to church. We have a small group there, and so we'd go to small group on Wednesday nights and church on Sundays any time that we could get. So we definitely had time for it, and I'm just so grateful, and my faith has now continued just to grow exponentially, which is awesome. Hang out with classmates outside of school. During first and second year is a lot easier just because everyone was pretty much on campus and we'd see each other daily, and then there were apartments just around the school the majority of the people lived in, so it was almost like dorm living. So yeah, people hung out all the time with each other. I'd say we were kind of in the middle since we had each other. Some nights we wouldn't. People would go out together, and some nights we would just want a night to ourselves to hang out and kind of recover from the week. And other times we go out for people's birthday. That was always fun. A fun time out. Now during third and fourth year, it's a bit harder. I'm not in the town that our med school is in. Neither is John. We've been just traveling so much, and so when we do get back for a special occasion, like I went to a friend's bachelorette party 2 months ago, and that was awesome. Got to see all my friends. Also, match day was recently, so we drove down and hung out with a bunch of our classmates then. So as much as we're able to, we do hang out with classmates outside of school. All right, One Smart Ivy asks again, while in med school, what are some ways to earn extra money, and what volunteer opportunities would you suggest to improve chances in matching? Earning extra money, John and I had jobs as AV assistants, so we recorded lectures our first and second year of med school, and then also we worked at night if there were any classes that need to be set up, and we checked the rooms and fill printer paper. And so we made actually a pretty decent amount of money there. I mean, just little, nothing like a job, but it was a little job nonetheless, and some pocket change to pay for rent or something. So during third and fourth year, extra money earning was pretty much Christmas or birthday money, and then sometimes I would babysit for doctors' kids. I would always ask if I could do laundry at their house in exchange for babysitting, and they obviously would, oh yeah, sure, but they'd pay me even though I said, oh, you don't need to pay me. So some extra $20, $40 there. Volunteer opportunities. Third and fourth year, just because we moved so much, we haven't been able to be in like a stable enough time to be able to volunteer. Anytime like there is something going on in the hospital, I helped out with like a flu shot clinic and administered flu shots. But I didn't even put that on my list. During medical school, we helped out with any health fairs or anything. I'll be honest, we did not do that much volunteering or have many jobs in medical school. Improve chances of matching. I don't know how to answer that one. I think do what you love to do. There's some people that are and like the homeless outreach and they love doing that, and they're there every Saturday and doing things, and that's like their passion. They love doing that, and I think that looks really good then on your resume. I was involved in, like I said, the health fairs, and I would do what's in the doctor's bag. I love going to elementary schools and exposing kids to different things that doctors do, and just help them become more familiar with some of the instruments and why we have them open their mouth, and just have them practice those things, and maybe get them interested in the world of medicine as well. So I don't know. It's not a great answer to that question. Then Mackenzie Martell asks, hey, I was just wondering what your undergrad GPA was. Thanks a bunch. I honestly don't remember. I know I said it in one of my earlier question and answer videos back when I was studying for step 1. I want to say it was like 3.5 or 3.6 or something along those lines. That sounds bad, but I honestly don't remember. It was so funny. You could think of so much on your GPA and grades. That was like consumed my life for 4 years, and now 4 years later, I can't even remember it. That's so terrible. But I think it was in the middle somewhere. Nothing excellent, nothing terrible, just kind of an average, I think, GPA. Casey Barista asks, okay, she said, are you ready? I have tons. Number 1, what was your GPA when you applied to medical school? Again, I don't remember. I think it's like 3.5, 3.6. I don't know. Number 2, do you do any volunteer work shadowing before? I think you mean before medical school, and I did volunteer at a long-term care center, kind of in a nursing home environment every week, and I just loved that. I think I did a ton of shadowing. I did some family docs in the town I grew up in. I did orthopedic surgery just to, get a different feel. And then I also worked as a scribe, medical scribe, and that I think is one of the best jobs you can have before going to medical school. Number 1, it really exposes you, and I worked in the ER and urgent care, and you also just learn a ton of terminology. When it came to writing notes and interviewing patients, I think it came a lot more quickly to me just because I had seen it day in and day out. I knew how to write a note. I had been writing notes forever, so that was really helpful. And then I also worked as a volunteer EMT on my campus. I was an EMT basic, took those courses, and that was really great too. I was getting just sick of doing like organic chemistry and general biology, and even though those were, I guess, interesting, it wasn't medically related. So when I loved taking my EMT class. It was a ton of work and a ton of time, but I enjoyed it. Then number 3, did you do any research before med school? I did 2 different research things. I did one with neuroscience. We looked at the effects of alcohol on adolescent and adult mice, and went to the neuroscience convention in undergrad for that. And then I also did a clinical research. I worked one summer in a very metropolitan county hospital, which is a huge eye-opener, and I worked in the ER and just did like a questionnaire to patients and kind of helped with different studies there. But I got to work with patients, which I loved a lot more than sitting in the lab. Number 4, did you ever study or / go abroad before going to med school? I did. My freshman year in undergrad, I went to Costa Rica for 1 month for a Spanish class, and I loved it. It was really great immersion. I love studying abroad. I've been to Panama for a mission trip, Mexico twice for a mission trip, so I love that. John studied in Peru, more medically based, during his, I want to say junior year he went. Maybe senior year? It was junior year. It was junior. We weren't engaged then. Number 5, how come you make med school look so easy? Are you one of those who are naturally smart and do not have to study? I don't know. Medical school is hard. I find myself, though, I love it. I truly love it. It's something I'm very passionate about, so that makes it, I think, easier. Study-wise, I am not one of those, John is more he probably could study half the time in undergrad, and I would have to put a lot more time in to get equal grades. But at the same time, this is going to sound weird, but I enjoy studying. As you can probably tell from my, step 1 and step 2 videos, I love to organize and then figure out what I need to study and figure out a study plan, and I like sitting down and just learning things, especially learning things that I really care about. So as medical school has progressed, it's gotten more clinically based, and I honestly enjoy it. I like studying, and I like learning it. It was a lot harder in undergrad when I was learning things that I was not really that interested in, but you just kind of have to do it and kind of trick yourself, pretend oh yes, this is something I'm interested in, even if you're not. So, and then she said, most of the people I meet say that if they could turn back time, they won't go to med school. I've met people like that too. For me, if I could turn back time, yeah, I would do it again. I'm finishing up 4 years. I would prefer not to redo 4 years of medical school just because that was 4 years of my life. But I definitely am glad I did it. I'm very happy. It's better than I thought it would be. So I don't know. I guess I'm very positive. I had a very positive medical school experience and would do it again in a heartbeat.